Welcome back to the channel. Let's see if we can find out about this car attack. You know, whenever I see anything on the media that stokes the fires of, Arab Muslim, I always get a little sus because, I lived through the Iraq mess and then the truth came out. There were no WMDs, but there are now hundreds of thousands of unalived Iraqi civilians, people just like you and I. I lived through the Libya mess, right? Hillary Clinton, we saw he was unalived. And I lived through the Afghanistan mess. And I also lived through the early tragedy in 2000s where those buildings came down. And it was all, I'm starting to see the Hegelian dialectics and other psyops, and so I'm very sus about seeing these things. Let's watch it and then we'll talk about it.
We're going to Germany first of all, and police in Munich say that at least 30 people were injured after that asylum seeker drove into a crowd of people yesterday morning.
Well, the suspect, who has since been arrested, has been identified as 24-year-old Fahad Nouri and is reported to have previously had his asylum application rejected, but his deportation suspended.
Let's get full details of all of this. We go to Catherine Foster, who's there at the scene, our political correspondent, and there is a big political gathering in Munich today as well. Catherine, tell us more.
Yes, there is. Good morning and welcome to a very snowy Munich, where the Munich Security Conference opens this afternoon. World leaders gathering. J.D. Vance, the U.S. Vice President, arriving yesterday with his wife and 3 children. Zelensky of Ukraine also here. A big moment for European security, particularly in light of everything that's been said by Donald Trump over the last couple of days. But we are here at this junction because
right off the bat, they've got to stoke the terror fire. We see suspected terror attack. They've got to keep people in a fearful state. They've got to keep them riled up. I'm super sus about what I hear on the media. Oh, I forgot about the COVID time. That era where the media hammered hard and celebrities hammered hard and public officials hammered hard and elected officials hammered hard to put so much fear into people to shut down their prefrontal cortex so they would do things they wouldn't normally do.
This is where yesterday morning at 10:30, a white Mini came from just up there over my shoulder and rammed into a trade union rally, hitting 30 people. Now the cordon's all been cleared away, but you can see now a lot of press here. There is a heavy police presence. Also, if we can pan round a bit more, there's one of several pop-up little memorials, flowers, candles, roses being covered by snow. A lot of people.
When I talk about potential false flags and potential Hegelian dialectics, I want to be very clear. This is a tragedy. This is a straight up tragedy. But once you understand how governments work and how they push their agenda forward via the Hegelian dialectic, then it all starts to make sense, right? All of these events make very much sense when you look at it through the lens of the Hegelian dialectic.
People coming, just taking a quiet moment, thinking about what happened here yesterday. 30 people injured. We know that a 2-year-old child is critically ill in hospital. There will be a press conference at 11 o'clock. We will bring you updates later, but we know that this asylum seeker that drove the car is going to appear in court today. We know that this case has been handed to counter-terrorism officials because some extremist content has been found. He came to Germany in 2016 from Afghanistan in that huge wave of migrants coming into Europe. Angela Merkel, the German Chancellor, said at the time, "We can do this." He did not get asylum, and yet he was allowed to stay, and people here are shocked, they are horrified, of course, but they are also, sadly, becoming used to this sort of thing. It was only in December there was the Christmas market attack, 6 people killed, 100 injured. Last month, a 2-year-old child and an adult stabbed to death, also in Bavaria. The authorities saying something has to change in Germany.
Thank you, Catherine. We now go to security
Also, when you look at how people from other countries are, the facilitation of how they're entering into the West, whether it's the United States or Great Britain, no one really seems to want to look at that, right? How are they getting there? What's happening? Well, if you go behind the scenes, you may find information pointing to George Soros. You may find information pointing to other world organizations that are facilitating the immigration of these people. You know, I also think a lot about, what's the guy's name? The 3 world wars, Pike, I forget it, Albert Pike. You know, again, people who know about that, it all lines up and it all looks very sus. Again, my belief is they want to go into Iran, right? They want to wipe out the rest of the Muslim world. And Benjamin Netanyahu already said way back before Saddam Hussein was unalived that if they take out Saddam Hussein, all this stuff will stop. It'll be peace in the Middle East. It'll be much better. It's worse than it ever has been. George Bush lied about WMDs, and we went into Iraq and unalived hundreds of thousands of civilians. Benjamin Netanyahu unalived it, and also, by the way, said it was the benefited that event in early 2000s where those 2 buildings came down benefited Israel. Right? There's some shady shit going down, and I'm done buying the mainstream narrative. I haven't trusted the media in 15, 20 years, especially after COVID times. To me, it's perplexing why people are even watching the media. I only watch it to critique it. I never watch it to get actually information, although some people still are, and that is very sketchy. Let's continue.
Lieutenant Colonel Stuart Crawford on all of this one. Germany, Catherine's reporting from Stuart, but the big thing is people are thinking, when's it going to happen in Britain?
Good morning. Indeed, yes, they are. And I think when you consider the hundreds of millions, if not billions, of cars which are deployed with people driving them worldwide, and every one of them is a potential weapon in the style that we've just seen tragically happen in Munich, then you have to assume that it can happen anywhere. And it wasn't so long ago that I wrote a piece for, I think, one of the Scottish papers about my local area in Edinburgh, Princes Street, packed with shoppers. And it just struck me that this, I think that was after the Nice attack, actually, if you remember that one, in the south of France with the truck attack.
Yeah.
It struck me that...
Let me also remind you of the motto of Mossad, which is, we will make war by deception. We will make war by deception. I'll also remind you that the American CIA, I think it's in the 80s, I've also heard the high 90s or 100, interfering in foreign elections directly or indirectly, all covertly, because that's how they roll. Please keep that in mind as you look at these events here in this media, and also share this. And while we're on the topic, I'm about ready to probably bundle in Media Business Blueprint into One Life, because I want to streamline my offering. One Life is my system for living, an all-in-one system to help you win the game of life, create the mindset, the heart set, be on your purpose. There's a whole guide in there about finding your purpose in life. There's like 41 ways, things like what is your ikigai, what resonates with other people, bunch of ways. What do you love to do? What lights you up? What makes you come alive? Joseph Campbell type stuff, Hero's Journey. I'm probably going to bundle Media Business Blueprint in there because it all ties in together. Like it's one product. But my offering to you is I want to recruit people to share knowledge and information about what's happening in our world, because we are in an information war. We are in a psychological war. And the more people that are talking, spreading truth and counteracting the lies and deception that are being propagated in our world, the better off we're going to be and the better chance for humanity. So you can learn more at mediabusinessblueprint.com or thisismyonelife.com. Let's continue.
Edinburgh's Princes Street was wide open, and it will be a huge task to put in all the necessary barriers in all of the public streets in the UK. So we are, in many ways, wide open to a similar copycat attack.
So what you're saying, Stuart, is that these are going to be so hard, so difficult to defend ourselves against attacks like this?
Yes, indeed, because I think if you're looking at something like a suicide bomb attack or a vehicle bomb attack or a small arms attack, then the perpetrators or would-be perpetrators have got to get through various security barriers before they can carry out that attack. But with a car, everybody's got a car, and nobody might do this next. The biggest defense against this sort of stuff is intelligence. And clearly in the case of the Munich attack, the intelligence wasn't strong enough or good enough.
Let's talk about that for a moment. I don't rely on my government to do shit for me. I find them to be incompetent and or corrupt. I'm sorry to have to be so bold, but I'm done. I'm done with them. I think these people are the biggest clown shows on the fucking planet. They can't protect you and they can't protect us. And it could be argued that they're not in that game anyway, right? They're advancing an agenda. That's my belief. I mean, I'm pretty outspoken about how I feel about these assholes. This guy's a fearmonger right here. This is, again, reason number 5,782 why I don't watch the mainstream media. All they do is put fear into the minds of people. They're super, super bad news. So if you watch it with a discerning eye. Again, no Hegelian dialectic, no psyop, no information war, and you'll be okay and look at it through that lens. They can't protect us. And it could be argued that they're not there to protect us. I mean, all these tragedies that are happening, and they're like, oh, well, we got to clamp down security more. Well, that's what they want, in my opinion, is a totalitarian surveillance state, and they push towards it by making people fearful and saying, oh, well, we can keep you safe if we watch you harder. Larry Ellison said, yeah, the best way to make people safe is by putting more surveillance in. It's bullshit with a capital B.
Obviously, we're getting more details as they emerge. We'll get some more later on today when he appears in court in Munich. But all we know so far is a 24-year-old Farhad Nouri. But he was reported to have previously had his asylum application rejected. But for some reason, his deportation was suspended. Yeah, it never happened. What should we read into that?
Well, I think what we need to read into it is in Germany and in Sweden and other parts of Scandinavia, the governments have been so welcoming to legitimate and probably illegitimate migrants and asylum seekers that they've welcomed into their own house, if you like, people who will do them harm. And so more stringent controls need to be applied. How that would be done, I'm not quite sure, but clearly the policy to date has been far too open to allow this sort of thing to happen again and again and again.
Stuart Crawford, we'll leave it there. Thank you very much indeed for your analysis of that situation. In the studio, Charlie Rowley, political analyst on this, and Stuart's talking about people who apply for asylum coming here and and then carrying out an act like this. I mean, I think that once you've been accused of something like this, once if that's proven true, that he drove into all of those people, they should throw the book at him. They should double his sentence for that situation. Why have we got to put up with this sort of nonsense?
Yeah, well, why indeed? The governments of Germany, Great Britain, and the United States facilitated this, allowed it. Right? Governments are there to, quote unquote, protect us. They aren't protecting shit, and it is very clear. But the reason they had to do this is because they have to agitate in order to facilitate the WAR that they want. They want to go into the rest of the Muslim countries and do what they did to Iraq, what they did to Libya, what they did to Afghanistan, right? They need a reason, and this, I believe, is their reason. It's happening in the United States as well. It's very clear, again, once you see how these mofos work, it is very clear, and I hope people are paying attention. That's why I make these videos, because if we do to Iran what we did to Iraq, we're done. We're done.
Well, absolutely right. And the question will be, should he be locked up in a German prison, or should he be deported back to Afghanistan? So there'll be and if an attack similar to what we've seen in Munich were to happen in the UK.
Another thing I want to just throw out there, let me know what you think in the comments section down below, but I feel that the leaders of these countries are accomplices to this. That's my belief. I mean, they facilitated, they allowed it.
They'll not take him anyway, probably.
Well, I think the German authorities have said that they've tried to have even though they don't sort of talk to Afghanistan particularly closely, but they've tried to get lots of people that have entered into Germany illegally back to Afghanistan. But we in the UK have had an open sort of process with people coming from Afghanistan, just as we did for Syria, just as we had for Ukraine.
It should have never had an open process. It should have never been open, right? It doesn't matter what's happening. There are ways and means to do it. This is irresponsible and or reckless, and hence why I say they're accomplices to this, and I hope the public sees that.
There's obviously, because of the wars that we've taken part in Afghanistan, there's an obligation, I suppose, from our point of view, to help those that are fleeing those conflicts. However, it is the people that slip through the net, or the people that blatantly apply for asylum when they're not fleeing refuge. If they're coming in on the small boats, and they tend to be not women and children fleeing conflict, they're men of a particular age, 30s, 20s, even younger, maybe in their late teens, who don't necessarily need to flee conflict, but do enter the country and claim asylum and shouldn't be here. How do you deport those people? Should this man have been deported? He probably should have been. If he's committed a crime in Germany whilst even having an approved status, an approved refugee settled status, he should be deported.
All right. There again, why I think the media is totally bullshit, a complete waste of time. You know, they've been talking about this shit for a decade easy, over and over again, and never a resolution, right? Never a resolution at all. It's just completely silly. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Let's see what people are saying here. How can he have his asylum application rejected, but his deportation suspended? Should automatically happen without appeal immediately after. Yeah, government at work. I'll never understand why they bother censoring the perp's face. Stop protecting these types. UK will pay a heavy price for tolerating the intolerable.
The gathering in Munich today as well.
Let's see here. What else? Germany for Germans. See, virtue signaling is much more important to political elites. I don't think it's virtue signaling at all. I think it was all a planned situation politically to advance the agenda of a few people that run the world. You know, I think the politicians are told what to do. They have people they work for just like you and I do, and that's why I don't listen to the bastards. Let's see. So why aren't the moderate Muslims speaking out against these radicals? You know, like I said, I never take anything I see on the media at face value, ever at all. It's just not in my best interest. Okay, it's 100% a controlled act, not a lone individual. See, that guy gets it. Give that a thumbs up. Yep. Classic problem, reaction, solution. Many or most probably digital ID. There's the Hegelian dialectic. Problem, reaction, solution. That's what I think it is. You know, let's see. Did I honestly just see the guy, his face blurred out? And we're giving them free driver's lessons. Let's end there. That's a great comment. Let me know what you think in the comments section down below. And again, like I say, if you want to become a part of the solution, check out mediabusinessblueprint.com. And I appreciate you for watching. Until next time, I wish you all the best health, wealth, and success. Bye-bye.